Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about a really easy way you could play through Message in a Bottle by the Police. And we're going to actually start out with just power chords, because this will kind of add into some of the licks and other chords we'll talk about in just a moment. So we're going to start out on a C sharp 5, and the way you play C sharp 5, first finger is going to go to the A string on the 4th fret, third finger is going to go to the D string on the 6th fret, and if you strum just the A and D strings, that's called a C sharp 5. And then from the C sharp 5, we're going to be going to an A5 power chord. And when we play A5, first finger is going to go low E on the 5th fret, third finger is going to go to the A string on the 7th fret, and if you strum just the A and E, that sounds an A5 power chord. It sounds really powerful. And then from the A5, we're going to be going to a B5 power chord. And when we play B5, first finger is going to go to the A string on the 2nd fret, third finger is going to go to the D string on the 4th fret, and if you strum those two together, just the A and D strings, that sounds a B5 power chord. It sounds really powerful. And then from the B5, we're going to be going to an F sharp 5. And the way you play F sharp 5, first finger is going to go to low E on the 2nd fret, the third finger is going to go to the A string on the 3rd fret, or on the 4th fret. And so we're going to play just the 2nd fret on the A with the 4th fret on the, or 2nd fret on the E with the 4th fret on the A. And that's called F sharp 5. And our verse actually is going to kind of revolve around those 4 chords. So we're going to go F sharp 5, A5, B5, F sharp, C sharp 5, A5, B5, F sharp. And then when we get to our pre-chorus part, we're going to be using the A5. And then we're going to go to a D5 power chord. And the way you play D5, first finger is going to go to the A string on the 5th fret, third finger is going to go to the D string on the 7th fret, and if you strum just the A and D strings on that, that's called D5. It sounds really powerful. And then we're going to take, in the pre-chorus, we're going to take the D5 and then slide it to 7th fret. So we got 7th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D string, and that's called an E5. And our pre-chorus is going to kind of revolve around the A major, D5, E5, A major, D5, E5, F sharp 5, and then we go to D5, F sharp 5, D5, F sharp 5, D5, and then on our chorus we're going to be going C sharp 5 to A5, C sharp 5 to A5, C sharp 5 to A5, and then F sharp major, and then F sharp major. And so that's one way you could actually play through it, is using just the power chords. On the pre-chorus part, it can sound really good to kind of add in more than you've got too. And what can sound really close to the recording is kind of doing 8 downs on the A, and then we're going to go to D for 3 downs, and then E for 5 downs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's kind of weird because we're splitting a measure of 4 by 3 and 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 1, 2, 3, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we kind of do the F sharp all the way through. F sharp 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, F sharp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, F sharp 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we got our chorus with the C sharp, A, kind of doing long ones. So that would be one way you could actually kind of play through the tune. It's just kind of a power chord thing. It'll sound very, very punky that way. One thing you may want to try and kind of add in is kind of taking the right hand and kind of flattening them out over the saddle to kind of get a muted quality, especially on the pre-chorus. That can sound really good, where you got A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 1, 2, 3, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that can sound really, really cool. Now the actual riffs that are working through the verse, though, are kind of an extension of the power chords that we were just doing. So if you want to play around with the actual riff that kind of works around in the verse part, you'd start off the same way with the C sharp 5, kind of getting played with the 1st and 2nd fingers. So you'd be going A string on the 4th fret to D string on the 6th fret, and then taking the pinky and adding it in on the G string on the 8th fret. So you're going 4, 6, 8 between the A string, D string, and G string. So that's quite a stretch. A couple things you may want to play around with is higher head angle can help with that if you raise the head up. If you use a strap, that can help too. And if you even go like almost cello position actually with these riffs. Sometimes that can help. And you may want to also watch where your thumb placement is. And if you watch out where your thumb placement is, like closer to the pinky, actually the more stretch and more movement you've got with the pinky, the closer the thumb is. So that's a couple other things you may want to play around with this if that looks kind of difficult, because I know it's a big stretch. But we're basically taking what we're doing for the C sharp 5 with first finger, second finger, and adding the pinky to it. And then we're basically going to take that shape and then move it through our power chords. So we start out with the C sharp 5 with the pinky added. And then we go to A5, that same way, adding in the 9th fret on the D string. And then we go to our B5 and kind of add in 6th fret on the G string. And then we go to the F sharp 5 and kind of add in the 6th fret on the D string. And we're going to do a slide there to 7th fret. So we got 2, 4, 6, slide to 7. So all together, you got the C sharp 5, A5, B5, F sharp 5, slide, C sharp 5, A5, B5, F sharp 5. And actually a more sophisticated name for these chords that we're actually using is something called a sus2, because we're playing the root, the 5th, and the 2nd of the chord, or the 9th, depending on which way you want to look at it. So you're actually going root 5, 9 for all these chords. So it's almost like a power chord plus another power chord. So you got C sharp 5, A5, or sus2. Actually, that's the way I'm thinking about. C sharp sus2, A sus2, B sus2, F sharp sus2. So that might be kind of a cool riff to kind of add in. Now, they do kind of do that kind of fast in the recording, so you'll have to really kind of practice that to get that up to tempo. But that may be something else that you want to add. Something else you may want to try actually is using the full-blown chords that these chords are kind of implying. And what I mean by that is actually instead of a C sharp 5 power chord, it almost sounds like a C sharp minor chord in the recording. So what you could do is kind of take the first finger and bar 4th fret, and then second finger is going to go to the high E on the 5th fret, third finger is going to go D string on the 6th fret, pinky is going to go to the G string on the 6th fret, and if you strum all those together, that sounds a C sharp minor chord. It sounds really, really sad. And if you're just starting out though and bars are kind of difficult, you can make smaller versions of these chords, and actually out most bar chords, by taking just the top few strings. So you could take the high E on the 4th fret with the first finger, second finger on the B string 5th, third finger on the G string 6th, and then those 3 strings by themselves would make a small C sharp minor chord. It still sounds kind of sad. And if you're slightly more adventurous, you could go first finger on the high E 4th, second on the B string 5th, third finger on the D string 6th, and take the pinky and go G string 6th, and kind of get a 4-string C sharp minor chord. And then from the C sharp minor, we're going to be going to an A major chord. And when we play A major, first finger is going to go D string on the 2nd fret, second finger is going to go to the G string on the 2nd fret, and third finger goes to the B string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the A major chord, we're going to be going to a B major chord. And we'll talk about an easy way to do this. But if you know the full bar B major, you do your first finger over the 2nd fret across the entire fret. Second finger is going to go to the D string on the 4th fret. Third finger on the G string on the 4th fret, and the pinky on the B string on the 4th fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a B major chord. It sounds really, really happy. But another way to kind of finger that would be doing a double bar, where you do the first finger bar over the 2nd fret, third finger kind of bar on the D, G, and B strings. So you can try and work it as a double bar. If you're just new to bars and you just want to kind of avoid that though, you could go high E on the 2nd fret, pinky on the B string 4th fret, third finger on the G string 4th fret, and if you strum just the top 3 strings, then that still sounds a B major chord. And if you're slightly more adventurous, you could kind of take your second finger and kind of add that in on the D string on the 4th fret to kind of get a little bit bigger B major. And then from the B major, we're going to be going to an F sharp minor chord. When you play F sharp minor, first finger is going to go across the entire 2nd fret, third finger on the A string on the 4th fret, pinky on the D string on the 4th fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like F sharp minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. Now if you're kind of new to bars though, what you may want to do with the F sharp minor is kind of take just the first finger and kind of try just a double bar on the top 2 strings, or the top 3 strings, or the top 4 strings, and kind of make a smaller F sharp minor out of that chord. So our verse progression actually kind of works C sharp minor, A, B major, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, A major, B major, F sharp minor. That's kind of the big chords that would support that riff. Now a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting, I like adding a strum pattern to it. And one of my favorite 4/4 strum patterns is down, down, up, up, down, up. So if we took the A major, because that's not one of the bars in the verse, and you just kind of tried that with a lot, you'd have down, down, up, down, up, A, down, down, up, down, up, A, down, down, up, down, up, A, down, down, up, down, up. The weird thing is, on our verse, we'll end up halving that between chords. So on the C sharp minor, you've got enough time to do the down, down, and then we've got to kind of go to the A for the up, down, up. Well, I say that. So one way to kind of play through the verse would be doing the down, down up, or the first half of that strum pattern on each chord. So you'd have a C sharp minor, down, down, up, A, down, down, up, B, down, down, F sharp minor, down, down, F, C sharp minor, down, down, up, A, down, down, up, B, down, down, F sharp minor, down, down. Splitting it in a different place, and this sounds a little bit more like the recording. You could do the C sharp minor with a down, down, and then make the A change on your up, down, up, in the down, down, up strum pattern. So you'd have C sharp minor, down, down, A on the up, down, up, B on the down, down, F sharp minor on the up, down, C sharp minor, down, down, A on the up, down, B on the down, down, F sharp minor on the up, down, C sharp minor, down, down, A on the up, down, B, down, down, F sharp minor, up, down, up. Might be another option. Kind of work it that way. Something else you may want to try actually is if that's and then when you get to your pre-chorus part, actually if you wanted to use the big chords, you've got A major, and then the D would actually be a D major chord. And the way you play D major, first finger is going to go to the G string on the second fret, second finger is going to go to the high on the second fret, and third finger is going to go to the B string on the third fret. And if you strum just the D, G, B, and E of that, that's called D major. It sounds really, really happy. And then from the D major, we're going to be going to an E major chord. And the way you play E major, first finger is going to go to the G string first fret, second finger on the A string on the second fret, and third finger on the D string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like E major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. So on our pre-chorus, actually the weird part is where we're halving the D and E. And one way to do that would be just doing that down, down, up like we were talking about earlier. So when we get the D, you'd have D, down, up, and then E with the down, down, up. So if we kind of try it that way through our pre-chorus, you got A, down, up, down, B, down, down, B, down, down. Now another way to kind of have that D and E though, since we're doing the 3 plus 5 thing, is you could do the down, down on the D, and then the up, down, up on the E. So kind of like what we were doing in our verse part. So you could do the D, down, down, E on the up, down, up, just to kind of try that. So we tried our pre-chorus that way, you'd have A, down, up, down, B with the down, down, E on the up, down, A, down, down, up, down, B on the down, down, E on the up, down. It kind of sounds like we've just got that one strum pattern on each chord. You got C sharp minor, down, down, A, down, down, C sharp minor, down, down, A, down, down, C sharp minor, down, down, A, down, down, F sharp minor, down, another way you could kind of work through your chorus part. Something else that I like adding in is instead of doing the A major in root position, for myself actually it feels almost easier to go to an A major bar chord. So if you wanted to try this, you take your first finger and go on the 5th fret across the entire fret, second finger on the G string on the 6th fret, third finger on the A string on the 7th fret, and the pinky on the D string on the 7th fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like A major chord too. So that's another thing that you could kind of substitute in. And I think it's just because I'm going from the 4th fret bar with that same shape for the C sharp minor to the A major. So if you wanted to try it that way, you'd have C sharp minor, down, up, down, A, down, up, down. Be another way you could work through your chorus. Something else that I like to add actually is kind of doing from the A major and splitting that in the measure with what would be called an A flat major or a G sharp major chord, where we take the bar and do the 4th fret as the bar, second finger on the G string on the 5th fret, third finger on the A string on the 6th fret, pinky on the D string on the 6th fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G sharp major chord. So it can sound really good on the A major to kind of split between the A and the G sharp major. So you have like C sharp minor, A major, G sharp major. And if you did your strum pattern, you could actually just do the down, down, up on each of those chords. You got C sharp minor, down, up, down, up, A, down, up, G sharp, down, down, C sharp minor, down, down, up, down, A, down, down, G sharp, down, down, C sharp minor, A. My chorus part. But that's the basics of how you could try and strum through Message in a Bottle by The Police. So good luck!